Well, people are joining, so before we start, good morning if you are from India, good morning everyone, and good evening if you're from US or other parts of the world, good afternoon, greetings from other parts of the world. Before we start, few housekeepings. I'm requesting everyone, if you are not talking, if you are not supposed to talk, if you are not asked to talk, please keep yourself muted. It will keep our program working smooth. So I'm requesting everyone once again, keep yourself muted unless you are not talking. So I think people are joining. We will start our session. So let me share my screen and then we'll talk more. I guess my screen is visible, right? Can anyone confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Welcome everyone. So today we are celebrating our first anniversary of SYAHI. When I say SYAHI, SYAHI means Society of Young Agriculture and Hydrology Scholars of India. So today is the day when we started last year. So we talk about, the screen is visible, right?
Screen is visible, but the PPT has gone.
That's okay right now? Are you able to see the screen, right?
So, Dr. Shah, I'm seeing this black strip again. If I don't know if others are seeing also.
There's a strip at the top of the screen.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure why black screen. Still there's a black screen.
It's not just a strip, a small strip at the top.
Yes. Exactly
That's
below
fine.
this logo.
Maybe you can again leave this screen share, then again you have to join the screen share. Maybe it's okay.
Okay. So, okay, sorry about the screen interruption. Very warm greeting to all the ladies and gentlemen, as well as distinguished guests over here. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Society of Young Agriculture and Hydrology Scholars of India, that is called SYAHI. Welcome you all to the SYAHI's first anniversary event, and I hope you will continue enjoying being a part of it. Often we say anniversaries are the opportunities to recollect the memories, the year gone memories, and to cherish them again and again. So today we are celebrating our first anniversary, and we value you all who are sharing the special day with us. So it is rightly said that it does not matter where you go in your life, but what matters the most is whom you have besides all the way. So it is a pleasure for me to invite you all to be a part of SYAHI's journey. I remember in 2020, that was a notable year for all of us because of COVID. For many reasons, we can say, we initiated this organization in 2021 with the dedication of all young scholars in hydrology and agriculture. And due to their engagements in the last 1 year, we have expanded our organization to this extent that we are celebrating first year of its commencement with huge network. So on the screen, you can see we have a network of 6 core team members, 200 plus SYAHI volunteer members, and 1,000 plus network members, more than 100 plus institutions. Before we talk more about SYAHI, let's get some messages from our top scientists, top leaders in science. They sent us anniversary wishes and messages. So I will play a few of the messages and then we'll talk more about SYAHI. So this is Deputy Director General
Congratulations
ICR.
to SYAHI for completing 1 year of journey. More heartening to note that you are bringing young scientists on this platform who are from India and also associated globally in various aspects at the time when there are many changes happening in the world, looking into climate change, and also looking into the consumers' needs, more focused towards nutrition and security. Your role is going to be very, very vital. The 1 year journey has been quite fascinating, as I come to know. You have been contributing very significantly, and I hope that in the years to come, you will be more vital, more, you can say, focusing towards the world needs, and also looking into the sustainable development goals. Your journey and your focus will be more towards looking towards a world which is self-sustaining, which is environmentally healthier, and which is helping people to live their happy lives. Congratulations to all of you who are associated with SYAHI.
He was Dr. A.K. Singh, Deputy Director General Extension in Council of Agriculture Research, ICAR. Next, we have Professor P.V. Varaprasad, University Distinguished Professor from Kansas State University and the past President of Crop Science Society of America.
Greetings from India. I wanted to congratulate SYAHI, the Society of Young Scholars in Agricultural and Hydrology in India, for their first anniversary. This is a very important society, and I wanted to thank you for taking the lead and empowering the young scholars around India and also around the world to be engaged in agriculture. We all know that about 820 million people do not have enough to eat, and also more than 2 billion people are malnourished and suffering from acute micronutrient deficiencies. So the work which you do is very important, especially considering the things which are happening with climate change and extreme climatic events affecting the agricultural production in India. Your role is becoming more and more prominent and important to make sure that India is self-sufficient in food production, but also will be able to export the food to the needed countries around the world. So again, once again, it's a milestone that you have achieved your first anniversary, and I'm sure that you will continue to do excellent work and empower youth in agriculture. And I wanted to thank you for doing this, and I would like to let you know that I will be available to support you and your organization in any way we can. Best wishes and take care. Bye for now.
The next is Sri Sarad Mohan. He's an entrepreneur in Tennessee in USA, and he will introduce his.
Namaskar, everyone. My best wishes to SYAHI for the anniversary. I, Sharad Mohan, from Tennessee, USA, a writer and an entrepreneur, and also handling the GIST agriculture track within the Vigyana Bharati. I give my best wishes to all the members of SYAHI for the achievement they have reached so far. With the Ukraine war, inflation, and also the environment situation, agriculture, which was always in the back of the every domain, has now come into the prominence. And India needs lots and lots of patents, lots of startups in the agri sector, and who best than the SYAHI could solve that issue for the India. So my best wishes to SYAHI once again. Keep it up, keep filing a lot of patents, keep opening a lot of startups in the field of agriculture, and make India proud. Thank you so much.
So next is Dr. Prabhat Kumar. He's a Horticulture Commissioner of Government of India.
It's a matter of great pleasure to note that SYAHI has completed 1 year in extending the services to the farming community and all stakeholders. And they have provided a very energetic platform to the young professionals of the agriculture to share their views, whatever they are having in their mind. On this occasion, I extend my deep felicitation to the entire team of SYAHI who have been working tirelessly towards meeting the Sustainable Development Goals and ensuring food security in India in general.
So next is Dr. Yaloji Rao Minaskar, distinguished alumni of IIC Bangalore and international coordinator of Global Indian Scientists and Technocrat Forum, USA.
Namaste. It is indeed a matter of jubilations to know that Society of Young Agricultural and Hydrology Scholars of India has finished its year-long journey of exceptional benefaction to bring transformation and revitalization in agricultural sector through miscellaneous technological feats and engaging young scholars across the globe. I warmly extend my deep felicitation to the entire team of SYAHI who have been working tirelessly towards the sustainable development goals and ensuring food security in India. Once again, Abhinandan, congratulations. Namaste.
So next is Dr. Santosh Pitla. Santosh Pitla is Associate Professor of Advanced Robotics and Agriculture Engineering at University of Nebraska, Lincoln, US.
Congratulations, Team SYAHI, for an exceptional one-year journey. You brought together many global scholars and engaged them. And also congratulations for bringing many innovations in the agricultural sector. I wish you all the very best for the coming years so that you can bring in more sustainable technologies that will help with food security goals in India. So congrats again. All the very best to the entire team.
Next is Dr. Vivek Mittal. He's a CEO of a space-based organization called VegaMax in New York.
It is indeed a matter of extreme jubilation to know that SYAHI has finished its year-long journey of exceptional benefaction to bring transformation and revitalizing agriculture sector through miscellaneous technological feats and engaging young scholars across the globe. I extend my deep felicitations to the entire team of SYAHI who have been working tirelessly towards meeting the goals of sustainable development and ensuring food security for India.
Next is Dr. Debashish Saha. He is Assistant Professor of Biosystem Engineering and Soil Science at University of Tennessee, Knoxville, US.
Hello everyone, my name is Debashish Saha and I am an Assistant Professor in Soil Science and Biogeochemistry at the University of Tennessee. Today it is a great pleasure to know that SYAHI has finished its year-long journey in transforming agricultural sector through technological innovations and engaging the scholars across the globe. And I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the entire team of SYAHI for their tireless efforts in meeting the sustainable development goals and food security goals in India. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
So these videos, these messages speak volume to what we did in last 1 year. And right now I will explain a little bit about what we did and what we are doing and what we will keep doing in the terms of hydrology and agriculture. So there are the 4 major domains we are working on. These 4 major domains are hydrology, climate change, crop modeling, and water and air quality. How we do? We do a networking platform. We have a networking platform where we have a collaboration between scholars, young faculty members, even PhD students, those who are looking for PhD admissions as well as postdoc appointment. So we have research education platform, networking platform, as well as skill sharing and career development. When I say skill sharing, everyone has their own skill set. Everyone wants to share. So we offer a platform where everyone can share their skill set and share different opportunities of PhD admission as well as job. So that kind of platform we provide. How we do? We have a lot of podcast series on different topic on urban environment, rethinking an urban environment. We have modeling workshop on hydrous, and we have Python workshop series from different kind of scholars across the globe. We did several workshops in last 1 year, and we impart knowledge, we share knowledge through that workshop and podcast series. What we did, we had a lot of dialogues, talks for different speakers, learners, and then that's how you see the range of topic from deep modeling to programming to career opportunities for masters and PhD, urban ecologies, those kind of thing. And we had line of speakers in last 1 year. If you see the speakers, you can see from the sustainable irrigation management to urban landscape to environmental remediations, water and ecosystem, as well as different kind of environmental studies as well. So what we did, we had a lot of speakers, and the biggest and the tallest speaker we had Professor Ratan Lal with DGICR last year, where we had interaction with Ratan Lal that how he achieved World Food Prize 2020, right? And then we talked more about environment and soil conservation with Professor Ratan Lal. Apart from that, we had policy impacts. How we did policy impacts, we had interaction with ministers, Minister of Agriculture, Ministers of Environment, Ministers of different level of agriculture, as well as experts of agriculture. We had session on drone in agriculture last year. We had session with Minister of Water Resources in Bihar. Pankaj is here. Pankaj went to Minister of Water Resources, and we had we are working on several ground projects with ministers as well. And with NCERT, we had online series to educate young students. And then we had a lot of talk series as well. So the policy impacts, we are also working on that. And we are also working for ground action. When I say ground action means what are the projects we are working on? We are working with different kind of startups, agriculture-based startups, hydrology-based, environment-based startups. If in the pictures you can see, we are working on the ground with different kind of startups. We are also part of different startups. We are blessed to have guidance of top leadership. You can see Dr. Biradar is in the picture. He's a country head of C4. So we had blessings of DDG of ICAR, CSIR, so that we work on a lot of projects. And that's how you can see a lot of meaningful actions we did. So this kind of work we did in last 1 year. What are the impact on terms of career and research? Our SYAHI member received Best Research Paper Award. Number of award were 5. We had open access general support, means we had slot of article free processing charge, that is number 10. Mentorship to PhD admissions, so we guided 5 PhD admissions for US and other countries. We had support to postdoc appointment. We had internship support to 10 students for internship in different kind of subjects. We have collaborative research publications among scholars. So 15 publications came out in 1 year with our collaborations. 5 book chapters came out. We are mentoring 2 startups in agriculture. So these kind of research and career impact we are doing. And we are continuing with these works with the support and engagement of all scholars across the world. So keep engaging. Please feel free to join us. Please follow us on Twitter, social media, everything. How you can collaborate. We have collaborative actions on different kind of field. We have training and skill development where we mentor young students, young scholars. We have field works and demonstrations under different projects. So we engage young undergrads and grads there. We have science advocacy with policymakers. We talk with ministers and policymakers how to push different kind of environmental work as well as climate change work. We have local coordination with different kind of organizations. We have farmers producer organizations. We have environmental conservation organizations. We have community workshops. We talk with people as well. We have ground-based research. So these kind of collaborative actions we can do and we are doing. So please join us. And then you have a lot of updates on the website. We have Twitter account. We have social media account. Please feel free to join. So this is a brief about SYAHI, what we did in 1 year, and we are continue doing with your support. And I will hand over to Vivek ji. Vivek ji, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Jha. So now I would request Dr. Gopal Krishnan to please share your screen and go ahead with the today's lecture.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek. Just sharing.
Meanwhile, Dr. Vivek, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So meanwhile, let me. Yes. Yes. Let me introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. Gopal Krishnan, हमारे गुरु हैं. Dr. Krishnan is currently working as a scientist D at the National Institutes of Hydrology, a renowned institute of our country in Roorkee, and was also associated with the British Geological Society for a long time, since 2012, and he has also experience over 20 years in the hydrogeological, surface water, groundwater investigation in and around the development activities. And I would like to say the person behind these all these northwest aquifers is Dr. Krishnan. He has already published a number of fantastic publications and the knowledge on the groundwater system of the Northwest India. Even I would like to say he already touched the eastern side of the India and throughout the country. If you visit the Sundarban area, you'll find these publications by Krishnan et al. Or Dr. Krishna group. So we are really happy and pleased and lucky to have you, Dr. Gopal Krishnan. Without wasting a lot of time, I would like to invite you to present your talk in 20 minutes and then 10 minutes for the interaction to our members. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Pankaj. And a very good morning to all. And I don't know what is the timing at other countries also. If there are the researchers from the various countries are also there. So I will greet all and namaskar to everyone. So the topic which I'm going to talk, this is groundwater making invisible visible, and I will show you some case studies also. So since time is short, if you want to interact or you have some questions which are not answered in this session, so you can note down my email address. It is given here, so you can interact with me anytime. And if you have any question regarding the presentation or any other question regarding the groundwater studies or hydrology, so you can talk to or you can communicate with me. I will be there. So let's start with the talk. So is the groundwater making invisible visible? So everybody knows that the groundwater is invisible. So how we can make it visible? So some historical background, if we see, so everybody has learned about the Mahabharata. So if we come to the Mahabharata, first we have seen that when Bhishma was lying on the ground and he asked for the water, and the Arjun with his he pierced the earth and the water has come. So this is the first example which is said about 5,000 years ago. It is about 3000 BC in Kurukshetra. So he quenched this Bhishma quenched the thirst with this water. So this is the water which is also the groundwater. Now this time presently we are drilling and getting this water, and we are going deeper and deeper. Earlier the water may not be as deep as it is now, because there is a fixed means if recharge is not there, then in confined aquifers or if recharge is very low, so there are fixed amount of water there. So then again come to the other parts. There is an invention also getting the water from the groundwater. Some wells were developed and some pulleys were invented in 600 to 700 BC, and these were the some type of these pulleys which are used to extract the water from the wells. Open wells were there, so they used to. If we come to the history of this, so this is the various work which has development, various patents which have been invented those time for extracting the groundwater. So if we come to this, then making of water visible, how we can make it? First is the elucidate. So making it clear, because it is a demystified. How can we know about the groundwater? We don't know about the color, what is mixed there. We don't know about the quantity. We don't know about the quality of the water. If it is any constituents are met. So then complexity. It is very complex. Sometimes what happens? There are multiple aquifers, and if we sample different aquifers, so we get the different type of properties. So it is a complex, and some local to regional effects are there. Then we collect the data about that may be related to your quality, or that may be related to the quantity, or that is on the various aspects. And then the impact assessment. What will be the impact of the if we lose the water, or if we go deep, or if the quality is deteriorated. So that is also then harnessing potential. How we can harness that? This is a very precious potential groundwater. This is the largest freshwater storage, and how we can harness it, and how we can recharge, how we can enrich it. Then what is the role in it? There are many groundwater dependent ecosystems, and what is the role of groundwater in ecosystems? Then integration. So there is the need when various disciplines come together to study the groundwater. Is not for the only for one decision, one discipline, because the groundwater starts with the earth, and when we start drilling, so we go to the deeper from the widow's zone, that is called the soil, and from soil we go to the deeper to the geology part, and the aquifer formations are there, and then we then we get the groundwater. So if you see the occurrence of groundwater, then what is the groundwater? There are various questions which are to be answered. How much groundwater is there? Because this question is again very, it is not easy to answer. How fast does groundwater move? Because groundwater is never static. It is a dynamic, and it is moving always. So at what speed it is moving, or what is the rate? So where does groundwater come from, and where does it go? So if it is moving, from where it is coming, and where it is going? So these are some of the questions. And if the foundation for understanding, so groundwater as the part of hydrological cycle. So groundwater is there, and it is a very important part of the hydrological cycle. And water level changes due to pumping and recharge. Whenever there is the addition of the water on the groundwater, or we remove the part of the water from the groundwater, there are water level changes. And there are certainly groundwater surface water interactions are there. When the surface water contribute to the groundwater, that is called the losing stream. And when the groundwater contribute to the surface water, that is called the gaining stream. So there are certain some groundwater surface water interaction is there. Then the vulnerability of groundwater to human activities. So large, like agriculture, industries, there are various sectors where are the groundwater being used. So how vulnerable the groundwater is there. So we know to understand. And then if all this happened, so if there is low groundwater, or there is excess of groundwater, or there are waterlogging type of situations are there, how you manage it. So groundwater management is also a very important aspect. So if you come to the hydrological cycle, everybody know I will not discuss this much in detail because all are from the hydrology background. So here we can see the fresh water is only 3%, and 97% is saline, and from this 3%, 30% is your groundwater. So groundwater has a significant contribution in this fresh water, and rest of the about 70%, or you can see it's ice caps and glacier and other parts like surface water, lakes and others. So you can see the groundwater is very important. So it is a groundwater is there. Somebody say that is an underground lake, or it is a network of underground rivers, a network of pipe-like water arteries, or a giant sponge. But what is the groundwater? If you see, there are the various pores are there which are filled, or there are fractures where the groundwater is filled, or when these pores are completely filled, those are called the saturated conditions. That is the groundwater. If it is not under the saturated conditions, or all the pore spaces are not completely filled, then it is not the groundwater. So you can see there are well sorted sediments, poorly sorted sediments, porous sediments. So various kinds of sediments are there, and there are rock fractures are there, lineaments are there. So how the water goes into it and how it forms a part of the groundwater, it is shown here. Then it comes the aquifers. Now it is the water storage structures below the surface. So it is deep in the subsurface. Aquifers in geological terms are referred to as the saturated rocks or geological furnace through the volumes of water find their way, which is the permeability of this. So here the precipitation comes, either the water will go as it will infiltrate, or it will run off. There will be runoff. So if there is infiltration, the water will go down, and it will form a part of the water table. So it is called a saturated zone, and this is your groundwater. The upper part of it is called groundwater table, which is in contact with the atmosphere. So this is the zone of aeration, and where is the zone of aeration? There is the water table. So if we come to the how this is, there are all you know, there are three type of rocks. There are the igneous rocks, metamorphic rocks, and sedimentary rocks. And there the sediments are coming from these rocks. They form the part of this, and these are maybe consolidated or unconsolidated. So the groundwater is formation occurs in these type of parts only. So here you can see the material sand, silt, and clay in these general unconsolidated and consolidated rocks. So these three materials, how they are distributed, how they are forming the various types of the rocks in here. So the groundwater has also aged, the residence time, how long the groundwater remain in the there. So if you come from the Senjoic era, from 10,000 years, if you begin with, it is the to Proterozoic era, 2,500 million years. So this is the years, if you say the beginning of it, and it is a so old water. So if we date the groundwater, we can find the age of the water, how old the water is there. So these are some if you see the worldwide, globally, the groundwater and how they are distributed. Characteristics of the regions are given here: the basement regions, sediment regions, and these are the sediment regions. These are major aquifer part of the aquifer, which is the you can see here. These are the yellow regions, sedimentary basin regions, and other red ones are your basement regions. Then high relief folded mountain regions are your green color, and volcanic regions are your blue color. So these are your volcanic regions. So if you see the major aquifers of the world, so Indo-Gangetic Basin is the one of the major aquifers of the world. So we have done a lot of work in it here. We carried some studies here also. So I will show those studies also. And if you see the groundwater storage, this is the work done in 2020 at University College of London, where they have the found out that groundwater levels are behaving not it is not behaving same in all the aquifers. This may be varying in all the aquifers at the different rates. So if there is declining rate, so you will found that they are going deeper and deeper. But there are some in some groundwater there is consistency also. So there is not much of the variations is there. So if we come to the groundwater level scenarios and predictions, so somebody says there will be water stress by the content 2040. So these are the ratio of withdrawals to supply. If we remove the water and the supply is less, we extract more water and less supply is there. So that kind of situation will occur. That is called the water stress type of situation. So this is the projections are based on the business as usual scenario. Some models were used, regional climate models. So if you see here, the storage of water bodies shown, how much they are defined, and the decrease actual building, construction, and irrigation part of this is one of the example. You can see here that it is the Andhra Pradesh. So here you can see there earlier it was 207, now it is the 125. So how the these all storage capacities everything. So if we, I'm again coming to this water stress and water scarcity. What is water scarcity? If you have water, this is Falcon mark indicator, which shows that if water is less than 1700 cubic meter per annum, that is the water scarce, and if it is the more less than water 1000, then it is water. So you can see then water stress, and then it's a where it gets to less than 500 cubic meter per annum. So wide variations in water availability due to the rainfall variability, groundwater reserves, and proximity to rivers, and has become water stressed by 2020. India has become likely to be water scarce by 2050. So if you see the importance of groundwater in India, now let's come to the Indian condition. India is the largest user of groundwater in the world, 245 billion cubic meter per year, 25% of the global withdrawals. So more than the groundwater extension of US and China combined. So groundwater has contributed more than 80% in increasing net irrigated area during the last 4 decades, and 65% of the total irrigated area. It contributes 85% of the rural water supply, more than 50% of the urban water supply, and most important buffer for the dampening climate change impact. So you can see here, if there are floods and droughts, so we are totally dependent on the groundwater. So still groundwater irrigation is included under the category minor irrigation, and you can see the more it is contributing more than the 80%. So if you see the annual groundwater recharge, it is 436.15 billion cubic meter, and annual extractable is only 397.62 BCM. So annual groundwater extraction is 244.92 billion cubic meter, and the stage of groundwater, overall stage of groundwater, what is this stage? This stage is the net water availability to the extraction. So here you can see it is 61.6, it is full. So if you see the categorized it in India, how the aquifers are there, the red one are overexploited, where there the availability is less and extraction is more. There are semi-critical, there are, you can see safe and saline. There are saline also, and safe zones are very less. So this is increasing dependence on groundwater because it is easily available, it is invisible, out of sight, out of mind, but limited awareness about the sustainable water use, and it is the best defense against the climate change impact. Low water efficiency in irrigation, agriculture is the major user of groundwater, where the water use efficiency is 50%. So groundwater management, over exploitation in India, if you see the different parts, there is different type of situation. Every over exploitation in northwest India, suboptimal utilization in eastern and northeastern state, high dependence of groundwater in western region, low yields and sustainability issues in hard rock areas, water logging and salinity in canal command areas, salinity water in coastal areas, and groundwater contamination. It is maybe due to the geogenic or anthropogenic regions. So then if you see, this is one of the work carried out was our research team from the various countries on hydrogeological typologies of the Indo-Gangetic basin in the alluvial aquifer of the South Asia. So here we have characterized this Indo-Gangetic system, characterized the aquifer properties on various typologies we developed. Those are the sediments or the aquifer or rainfall aquifer properties. And we found that the behavior is different, rainfall is different, sedimentology is different, the permeability is different. And then if we see the quality also, the quality of the salinity is different, and specific yield is different. Here you can see the salinity, there are pockets of highly saline, and there are fresh water. Causes of the salinity in this belt we have found out. Then arsenic distribution also, if we coming to the eastern sides, West Bengal, or they are in the eastern side of Bihar, from Varanasi onwards, you can find the arsenic is there up to Bangladesh. So high arsenic is there. There is arsenic is now coming in the northwest India also. So this is one of the paper we published in the Nature Geoscience, where we have found the groundwater quality and depletion. Then if you see in India, the two broad group of water bearing formations, or depending on the water, their hydraulic properties. One is the porous formation and one is the fissured formations. So if you see the South India, there is a hard rock and their potential is different. And here, this is the alluvial portion where the rivers from the Himalaya, they are bringing those sediments and redistributing in this part. And there's a thing, the alluvial formations. So this is the rich and very fertile lands are in this region. So then in case study, I am showing that is on century of groundwater accumulation in Pakistan and Northwest India. So here what we have done, we have taken the data of 150 years. That was some from British times. That data was taken and we found what happened in during 150 years. So we found in various tracts or in various command areas what has happened. So we found that the groundwater accumulated until 1960 at the rate of more than 400 cubic kilometer, and groundwater depletion started after 2000 when more number of groundwater structures were developed, supplies was less and demand increased, and the regions can be explained by the canal construction, climate variability, and tube well development. So this is the 150 years of the groundwater development, and you can see it is not the same, because there may be some local effects also where the groundwater depletion is at a higher rate. Or if you see from this diagram, the groundwater accumulation in 1900, the groundwater levels were this in the northwest India, but in 1960 the groundwater level came up. So you can see the groundwater accumulated, but suddenly in 2010 again started declining. So this is due to the tube well development and land use change. Here you can see there certainly the land use was not there. The agriculture lands were not there that much. So agricultural lands were increased and tube wells and the groundwater structures have increased. So if you see for the last 20 years, you can see the behavior of water wells were different in different areas and different regions. So we have also conducted some studies to see the diurnal behaviors of the groundwater, and we put some loggers in the deep in the piezometers, and we found that the groundwater behavior was not same as it used to be at different time of the day. So when we try to see it in detail, then we found that at various time in the daytime, the groundwater levels were rising or declining. So this is one of the example of the Punjab area where we found that if somebody is taking sample at this time, he will say the groundwater level is up to the, you can say 26 meter. But when which a person is taking evening time the sampling, so he will say the groundwater levels are much down. But so the groundwater behaviors are different during the daytime also. It is not the same. So I'm not talking of the seasons or months, but even that in one day the groundwater behavior changes. So these are the different places when we found the groundwater behaviors. The groundwater levels were different. Groundwater levels and their behavior was different. It is in the vicinity of just you can say 4,000 square kilometers. So it is not much different. And then we found some isotopic effects, and we found the recharge sources, and we found that the recharge sources were same for the groundwater. Either the river was the source or the precipitation was the source. So you can see the canal command area was the source, but the behavior was different, being it in spite of the same source. So when we restricted our research our work to the only 3 districts, then we found that the groundwater levels were even different, and because the land use was different, the topography was different, geomorphology was different, and what was the water levels were different, and you can see the drainage pattern was even also different. So we try to connect these aquifers, and we found that when we found the salinity at different depths, these are the multiple aquifers at the same place. We developed the aquifers at different depths, and we found the different type of salinity and different type of freshwater aquifers in these areas. And when we try to find the cross connections, either horizontally or vertically, we develop those structures, and we try to find out these interconnections. And we found that some were connected. Actually, we have done the sealing of all the aquifers so that they are not mixed. But even then, we found some mixing due to some distant effects, some interconnections. So these were some marginal interconnections, some good interconnections, and some very high interconnections. So when there is high interconnections and the water quality is not good in one aquifer, it will transmit to the whole multiple, all 4 aquifers. So it will pollute whole aquifer. So this is the region. And we found the recharge sources. What are the recharge sources in all these aquifers? Through isotopes, we found the different recharge sources were there. Even though the groundwater quality was same, salinity levels were same. So there were some mixings, and because there were some interconnections there. So what those interconnection, how they come? So if you see the local flow systems, then there is certainly interconnectivity. When there is intermediate flow system, there are a large difference, and there are regional flow systems. So regional flow systems, there are less chance of mixing and localized quality effects. We are not seeing the regional flow systems, but those are certainly seen in the local flow systems. Then if you see groundwater resources, one of the work in the groundwater salinity, there are 2 types of salinity in India. One is inland salinity and one is coastal salinity. So coastal salinity is from Rann of Kutch, from Gujarat. On these belts, there is the salinity, and the inland salinity is in these pockets. So if you see, there with CGW, we have found that there are out of 6,881 blocks, 100 blocks are saline. Salinity is in the pocket. It is not in the continuity. So there may be some closed basins or some other regions for the salinity. So when we have done one of the study in the Mewat region of Haryana, where we have found that the groundwater salinity was restricted in some one place, but the groundwater extraction started from the foothills of Aravalli Hills in Rajasthan. The groundwater extraction is there, and it faces the stress. Stress was there. So due to that stress, the salinity was started moving to the freshwater resources, and the salinity was as high as that of a sea. So you can see here the house salinity. When we analyze, there were intermittent clay and sands, and the water level and temperature were how they are behaving. And then we found that how much area in the different years, the salinity, how they were increasing with the time. So we found that the salinity was increasing because the movement of the in this belt, where the salinity is very high, and it is the mixing with the time when there is high extraction. These are the Aravalli Hills belt, where there is the fresh water source, and this water is being extracted. So this water is mixing, and some dilution effect is there. So which then we have found how the mixing is taking place. This is the one of the study we carried out under the World Bank project. So there are various schemes for the groundwater for the groundwater management by the government. If you see from the central government, there is Manrega scheme, there is Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchay Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, PM Kisan Suraksha Evam Utthan Mahayon, National Rural Drink. Then again now one started Jal Shakti Abhiyan. It is to augment the groundwater levels. I am also the part of it. I am the technical officer in Jal Shakti Abhiyan. So recently we visited there and we try to find out there are various interventions which we do. We increase the afforestations so that more of the root recharge is there, and we construct some recharging structures, and then reuse of recycles of the water. Then Jal Jeevan Mission. This is the mission of the government to provide the water to everyone. There are some state schemes also. Mukhyamantri Jal Suraksha Vision Rajasthan, Jal Yukt Shivir Abhiyan Maharashtra, Sujlam Supalam Jal Abhiyan Gujarat, Mission Kakatiya Telangana, Niru Chetu Andhra Pradesh, Jal Dharo Jal Bharo, ban and early sowing of paddy in Punjab. It is there in Punjab also. Pani Bachao Paisa Kamao, Khet Talab in Uttar Pradesh, and there are other sources of various government departments are there. And if you see the water conservation structures, these are all over the India, but name were different. So somebody says Jing, some Cools, Nola, in eastern side, northeastern side is Jabo, Ruza. These are the some water conservation structures which are there. Only the purpose is to augment the groundwater levels. So if you see the demand management, mainly some NGOs, I have shown you the central government schemes and state government. There are some NGO driven programs also, but these are driven by some personalities like Hibre Bajar and Ralegaon Siddhi in Maharashtra, Anna Hazare and Popat Rao Pawar, then Marvi in Rajasthan, this is Lakshman Singh, Laporia, and then Beed, Jalna, Satara districts of Maharashtra. So these are the scale is not that higher, which are anticipated from this. And then the abscess of government constricts the groundwater management. And again, I have told you, these are the only personality driven, so it is not spreading to the larger scale. So there are some what we can do. So we have to need to making this visible invisible. So we have made this invisible visible to some extent regarding the quality and quantity. Now we know the quality and quantity of most of the aquifers, and then revisit the groundwater strength assessment methodology. Aquifer desaturation over time not taken into account. Need more realistic field data on groundwater extraction. State governments to be sensitized to the importance, because as you told, the groundwater level behavior is different in different types. So more realistic field data is required. Then aquifer based volumetric assessment is required. CWB has started with NACUM, National Aquifer Mapping Studies. Need increased network density in various aquifers and more emphasis on demand management. There's sustainable extension of groundwater by to decide cropping pattern, efficient irrigation practices, change in cropping pattern to suit water availability, creation of market support, modification of dietary habits of people, and adaptation measures. So all this comes under the enabling and empowering communities, because community movement is very important for management of the groundwater, ensuring seamless flow of information, awareness creations, participation of communities, water budgeting, community involvement, promoting community use surface water, groundwater under integrated water resource management. Then there's the formation of river basin authorities to promote conjunctive use. Even one study we carried out in southwest Punjab, where there was high salinity due to the canal command area. Most of the people, they are using the canal water, not using the groundwater. So to promote the conjunctive management of water, including the managed aquifer recharge, demystifying the science of groundwater, undertaking studies on stream aquifer relationship, revival of springs. In hilly region, this is a very important part to revival of the springs. Then water balance studies, development of floodplains and paleo channels, like there are some, the Saraswati River is extent. So there are some, there is required some research to find out these paleo channels where the Saraswati River is going on in Haryana. Then explore solutions beyond water safety, groundwater manage, perceived to the sole responsibility. Somebody says that it is the responsibility of groundwater organizations and departments, but need to be water everybody's business. There's possibility of significant contribution of the agriculture, industry, human resource development, urban development, DST, power, and many more. So these are all required. So I will thank for this work I have shown, BGS DFID and the BGS UK sponsored Government of Punjab. Thanks to Director and thanks to Global Groundwater Researchers, CGWB, organizers of this talk. Mainly, I will thank Dr. Pankaj Kumar Gupta and SYAHI for inviting me for this talk. So with this, thanks very much. Hope I have not taken much time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Krishna. We are really thankful to have you and excellent presentation from your side. Today, without, there are multiple questions. So instead of asking a lot, I would like to say our participants, okay, so we will send your question to Dr. Krishnan, and we will send you the answer from him as well. So a quick question to you about from Sri Kirti, Kartike. So how much data points we need to accurately interpolate this groundwater quality data? So how much data points we need to?
Actually, the groundwater quality is deteriorated only due to some regions, and these regions are we need to find out those regions. One region is the geogenic, and one region is the anthropogenic. So if it is the anthropogenic, so the point of contamination may be a single source, maybe some external body or some nala or some drainage, some sewage system is meeting with the groundwater. So that may be the anthropogenic activity, or it may be due from the agriculture source also. So we need how to find out their source. But if it is geogenic, so we need to first want to know if this is geogenic or anthropogenic. If it is geogenic, then it may be the widespread. Like your arsenic. The arsenic is said to be the geogenic problem. It is not the man-made problem. So it is spreading at a much part. But when we come to the other quality issues, like there may be if you found nickel or cadmium or anything like that, which are mainly due to the industrial waste or sewage. So this may be only at the some point. So we need to find out second how much point for the sampling. So for deciding the sampling points, we must know the aquifer. So if we know the aquifer, it is a regional type of aquifer or it is a local aquifer. If it is a local aquifer, then we need not to sample it from the various points. But if it is a regional type of aquifer, it's a big aquifer. Like if I'm saying of the Indo-Gangetic aquifer, it is a very big aquifer. It is starting from the Indus and up to the Bangladesh part. So it's a big aquifer. But here also there may be some various typologies are there. There are the effect of multiple aquifers is there. So we need to find out, because complete understanding is required. So that's why it is a transdisciplinary research of groundwater is required.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Karthik, the things is that we have to first consider the source visually, or we have to determine the conditions of the aquifers, and then we have to design the points of data collections. Again, the cost is a factor, the site condition is a factor, the source of the pollutant and the condition, environmental or subsurface conditions are the factors. There are a number of things to discuss about the data collection and how to highlight these soil water quality issues correctly in the field. No doubt the talk is very informative for us, and you can see the number of case studies from India and in and around the South Asia. So we are really thankful, Dr. Krishna, for highlighting such a global work from the local level to the global level. And we wish your research will be like more helpful for us to implement such techniques to improve the soil water quality and groundwater quality in the future. SYAHI will take care of all your messages, key messages from your research to implement and to highlight these next generation, to hand over the messages to the next generations. With this word, I would like to thank you and hand over this platform to Prakashji. I would like to say we are continue to receive numbers of messages from our mentors and the renowned the scientists from around the globe. So I would like to hand over to Prakashji to have the next message and then the next talk. Thank you very much, Dr. Krishna and Prakashji. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Krishnan and Dr. Gupta, for such a nice moderation. We have received a nice message from Dr. Biradar. Let me share the screen. Dr. Biradar is a country director of C4, Center for Agroforestry, and he just sent a message that please play my message also. So he's a great mentor for us. Dr. Biradar is a country head of C4.
Congratulations, SYAHI, for completing 1 year. It is such a great the journey, and within a year they have achieved so much. And we all talk about agriculture transformations in the crisis of the climate change. Without bringing the youth into agriculture, the transformation is not possible. And the work we have been doing and reaching out to from the grassroots level, from the scientific arena to the science-based interventions, that's very important. And this is where the youth is going to play the vital role. So thank you again for the SYAHI making this possible, and I wish you a successful and make it a moment across the country and the world to bring the sustainable agriculture transformations with inclusive involvement of the youth and interventions across the scales. Thank you very much.
So that was Dr. Biradar. And without much ado, I'll invite our next speaker, Dr. Amitav Rakshit. He's an associate professor of Department of Soil Science and Agriculture Chemistry at Banaras Hindu University. Let me introduce a brief about him. He doesn't need any introduction, but let me introduce about him. He has undergrad in agriculture, bachelor's in agriculture from BCKV Mohanpur, and then he did his master's from Pantnagar Agriculture University, and PhD in soil science from IIT Kharagpur. I think in 2003, he joined as an assistant director of agriculture, Department of Agriculture, Government of West Bengal. And in 2006, he joined as a faculty at Banaras Hindu University. And since then, he's continuing mentoring a lot of young students, and I'm a part of that as well. So he's continuing mentoring young students, young scholars, and he sent me to US to do PhD as well in 2014. So over to Dr. Rakshit. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prakash, for these wonderful words, and I'm really feeling it elevated to see that the way the state of enthusiasm you had during your undergrad days, and you still carrying that, and I'm really feeling it great to see that you people are doing great, and particularly you and Dr. Gupta for inviting me for this particular great day. I think you initially mentioned the different role and different very perspective role with reference to making and shaping the global agriculture, as well as with reference to the other natural resources, whether it is soil, whether it is water, in such a way so that it can give more sustaining results. So thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity to interact with this global audience. I know it's late night in US and in Canada. Both of you are there in that extreme end, and in the morning, whoever has joined from Europe. And today, I am going to talk on an issue which is very close to my heart, and this is something which makes me always, feel elevated. So, is the slides visible, Prakash?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to talk on a little bit on a something which is more of generalized sort of talk will be this, but definitely some of our intervention, particularly this part of India, this eastern part of India, where we have intervened, we try to converge those science, whatever science we practice in our lab or in our research domain, to make it to a practice. We wanted to do that sort of translational work. So I will also give you a brief on that particular thing in a couple of minutes. So one thing is very pretty clear, that this is a different India. And this India is progressing. And when I say this India is progressing, and this India is progressing like anything. And if it is agriculture, something, it's something you just can't compare. I'm not undermining the contribution of other sciences. But if you look at, for the sake of the food nutrition, for the sake of this food security, for the sake of the total contribution towards making things or your presence being felt at the global level, this is one sort of primary industry that is making its wonderful contribution. And when I say that, I must, this is something which I presented. I remember this was, it's almost 13, 14 years back. And it was, I think, in the year 2009. And we were just celebrating 200th birth centenary of Charles Darwin and 150th centenary of the origin of species. And I had the privilege of representing India in that particular forum. So I presented a data, and this presentation is available. So the talk was from evolution to revolution in agriculture, the Indian story. The reason I mentioned that, because I mentioned this particular slide, because this was 2009, and if I just show you the very recent estimate, nothing, it was almost a similar change, but we have seen a tremendous, momentum. So although, those changes were happening very steady and fast, but in the last, if you look at the last 5 years or last 6 years or last 7 years data, and if we have an analysis, and we have done extremely good, whether it is food grain, whether it is oilseed, whether it is sugarcane, cotton, jute. And if you look at the other part of, this enterprise related to horticulture, fish, poultry, meat, in every place, we are doing like anything. And these particular, the total, this contribution, and if you look at, it is going to be almost, 11% of the total global agriculture. And these particular whole contribution, which is coming out of your food grain, out of your oilseed, out of your sugarcane. So all of these contributes almost 11% of your global, production with reference to your global contribution. And India ranks second in your world in your agricultural production. And when you look at, when you analyze that how it has happened, or what was those driving factor, or what was those particular enthusiasm that worked for this last many years. So definitely it is a good result of your hard work of farmers and scientists and farmer-friendly policies, because that is very important. You may have a very innovative, very dedicated, very committed farmers, as well as your scientists. But if you don't have policies in place, definitely it doesn't work. And that we have seen in the last 6-7 years, that how these policies has given that sort of momentum, that sort of confidence. And these agriculture, whatever agriculture we are looking at today, this particular agriculture in this part of this century, this is structurally dissimilar. This is structurally diverse and stronger and superior to the one that existed during the Green Revolution. And definitely, once I mentioned these, and we also remember that when the entire humanity was challenged, because of this particular pandemic. And I'm very happy to share these on this very important day, on this 6th of July. And when you have your Louis Pasteur administered the first vaccine against the rabies, it's a Juno's Day. So, and these particular pandemic has made a huge transformation, whether it is in economy, But if you look at that during this particular pandemic, when I was saying that yes, the entire humanity, was challenged. So, but we have a remarkable resilience, and that resilience we have observed, and that this particular agriculture has exhibited this particular, huge resilience during this particular COVID-19 period. And it has happened because of that, as I said, that sort of conviction. You have that committed people who are, working day and night. You have committed scientists, and at the same time, it is because of this information technology revolution. Or one, even if you are not in the field, but definitely you are able to connect. You are able to connect your message. You are able to connect with the emotions and their feedback. That's the thing happening. And ultimately, we have seen that yes, we have done excellent. We have exhibited that particular thing during this pandemic. But once I'm very confident about this particular progress, but definitely there are a few issues, which we need to take care at this moment of time, at this point of time, and if we can make a synergy of those different, those different challenges, and if we are able to, convert those challenges to gain, if we are able to convert those challenges to opportunities, definitely will be making a huge progress. So there are changes from your climate change. There are changes from your these issues related to natural resource management, whether it is degradation, whether there is impairment of your natural resources. Where we have issues related to deforestation. We have issues related to these land use patterns. Dr. Menon was mentioning about those water scarcity. Yes, definitely we have issues on that particular issue as well, the freshwater resource, because from that particular freshwater, the major consumer is your agriculture. So we need to come up with those different available other options which we can employ on this particular sector. And there are other challenges as well. But as I am working on your issues related to natural resources, so definitely I will show some of our interventions in this part of India, eastern part of India, where we try to put those basic science. We try to convert those basic science into practical utility. We wanted to convert those basic science to use, particularly for your greater perspective. So this part of, when I say this eastern part of India, Dr. Menon was also highlighting about the water issues, water related issues related to water quality, and that is getting impaired in the recent past, whether it is due to your geogenic or anthropogenic. So this is same holds good true for your natural resources like your soil as well. We have issues related to soil health. We have issues related to soil quality. We have issues related to the issues pertaining soil resilience, that just to come back to its original position where from we started, because we wanted to just transfer this particular huge resources to our ancestors, or to the next generations, the one which we received from our ancestors. We wanted to just hand over the similar quality material to the next generation guys. So in a way, we wanted to ensure that we have a sound soil health exists, which is going to deliver this this particularly issues related to this nature support system, or the synergy which is being created, which we need to create, so that nature-based solution can make its own way in this particular part. So definitely, if we look at, because once we go through the issues pertaining to this part of India, definitely there are issues related to your stagnation of your overproduction. We have plateaued that particular yield. There is decline in yield also, so there are reports. People are complaining about that. You have a huge, as I said, that input use efficiency related issues are there. Even if you are, applying huge amount of resources, but you are not going to get the response in that way which you used to get maybe 20 years back. And at the same time, the biodiversity, the genetic base is getting also impaired. And definitely when our prime minister is worried about, he's, focused on just making our farmers' income double, definitely the profitability is getting affected in this part. And and it has affected to our observation what we observed that it happened because of lack of diversification, and government is very specific on this agenda, and it is this diversification is coming up heavily in this part of India. And when I talked about the science which we are practicing in our lab and which we have done in the recent past, maybe in the last 7 years, it's a very it's a work which was which involves multiple disciplines. This is a particular piece of work which we try to address issues related to whether it is a biotic or abiotic stresses, because when I say that the number one issues is definitely related to your climate change, definitely abiotic stresses are going to matter a lot. Even if you have a huge growth, even if you have a huge initial growth, but because of those particular abiotic stresses, your all efforts can be can go to vain. So definitely with those particular broader objectives involving people from multiple domains, so we started working on this, and we intervened. We intervened in this particular part of India with a very simple, very robust, and very something which doesn't incur any form of larger intervention in form of any form of you cannot put it as a rocket sort of science. It's a very simple science which people who are used to practice earlier, but we have given it we have given this particular this particular component into their practice. And this is something we achieved. It is through this biocribing. So for that, as I was mentioning, definitely we need to isolate from those particular microbiome of this particular eastern part of India, and we come up with those particular network analyses, and then microbial taxa and how we isolated them. Then we go ahead with those sort of analysis, which is going to address the issues of compatibility, because we wanted to address multiple issues, whether it is related to input use efficiency, whether it is related to moderation of those particular changes which is going to brought about by change in your climate. So, and ultimately we could have able to come up with some particular sort of microbial flora, and then we worked on those consortia, and that consortia we are now able to come up for this particular region. Now farmers are using it it's quite extensively for this particular. If we look at this particular part, definitely farmers are using it extensively. And this is, as I said, this is a very small intervention. Our work was to isolate those particular flora. We wanted to make a compatible study, and from the compatible study we made a consortia where there are multiple microorganisms. They act day and night 24/7 and make those biogeochemical cycles useful for your crop rhizosphere to take the maximum benefit, to harvest maximum benefit out of it. And we have done it in the adjoining areas of Varanasi. And this simple technology, as I was mentioning, it's a robust and it's a widely applicable technology. People used to use a sort of primer for different their particular propagules, maybe a seed or seedling, but we introduced only intervention was that particular bioprimer. And you can see that the difference is a crystal clear. We wanted to focus not only, we don't wanted to focus on the above ground part. We wanted to focus on the below ground part, which actually, governs the whole scenario, which actually, drives, which actually are the driving force for making all those positive changes. So, you can see this difference. And we are also convinced because, we have number of, students who work under this particular problem and under different categories of crop, whether it is cereals, whether it is pulses, whether it is, some of those very important vegetable crops, because our Prime Minister is, is making it a point that we need to have a diversification. And believe me, this part of India, it was always a rice with dominance was there. So definitely these outcomes, these, and when I say these outcomes, this has a, another implication with reference to your, those budgetary section as well, those subsidy politics as well, because, if we can reduce, or if you can improve the use efficiency of your input, definitely the burden of this particular, huge subsidy which is being incurred on your this fertilizer every year, it is now more than 1 lakh crores. It's a huge one. So, if we can make a intervention, a simpler intervention through which we can, make those sort of changes, definitely it is going to help the country as a whole. Because, this particular input is an energy intensive sector. It's a huge energy intensive sector. So from the point of synthesis from the point of synthesis to the point of application, it needs a huge amount of energy. If I talk about only nitrogen, it's almost 70 megajoule is needed for producing, for synthesis and to application. And ultimately the last man in the row who is applying that molecule. So it involves this huge amount of energy. So not only you can, curtail down your subsidy, you can, relieve your government, but at the same time, you can, drop down this energy budget as well. And as I was mentioning that these natural resource management, there are some success stories because our focus was basically, we wanted to translate this particular science to, reality. We wanted to, translate this science to practice, because then only whatever, intervention, whatever effort we made, we will be able to, and that will give us also that sort of encouragement as well as confidence. So this is a success story from this fragile ecosystem of this Indo-Gangetic plains, where I was mentioning most of your natural resources, whether in your soil health is getting deteriorated, your water quality is getting impaired, you have the abstraction of your water resources, the groundwater withdrawal is heavy in this part of India. You have other environmental issues are there. So we wanted to intervene these, and definitely we initially initiated this particular drive with rice, because I say the rice wheat is the most important cropping sequence which is being followed over here. And you can see a huge amount of greenhouse gases, huge amount of energy. You have your degradation of your natural resources. Okay, you have your excess abstraction of your groundwater, because this part of India of very recent origin, farmers are now concentrating more on your boro paddy, that is your summer paddy. And for that particular, for that particular practice, which was, previously it was mostly prevalent in West Bengal, in other parts of maybe, eastern Bihar, but now this has been even, across this Varanasi region as well. So that has, again give rise to the issues of these water abstractions as well. So we wanted to address these issues definitely with this intervention. These were the practice which they used to do it earlier. We didn't make any changes in that. The only thing we changed is with our bioformulation which we produced in our lab, we just mixed whenever they were making this sort of seeding in those particular seed beds. So this was those particular intervention we made, and ultimately rest of the thing is all same. And at the same time, we wanted to make sure in this particular intervention about those gender equality issues, because this is a particular FPO which runs in this eastern part of India, and you have a huge dominance of, and most of them are women. And you can see, and this is something they call it as a seedling factory. And ultimately, with our intervention, the level of the seed beds, the seedlings which were produced, they are more healthy, because this part of India is again prone to many those abiotic stresses. You never know that at what point of time you have your flood will come, at what point of time you have a withdrawal of monsoon. So these can withstand all of them. And if you have this sort of system, if you have this sort of tray system, if you have this sort of factory where you can put those bioformulation, and then definitely your seedling and the vigor. Ultimately, our main intention is definitely the below ground biomass. And this is our intervention, although this we have started with this particular FPO in 2017, but during this pandemic there are some lapses in between. We couldn't generate those data, but definitely maybe in some in forthcoming presentation I will be able to show those success stories. The only one thing which I wanted to make it a point over here is this simple intervention, as I was mentioning, this priming intervention. Look at this, particularly this part. Whenever you have in 2018, as I said, that there was a withdrawal of monsoon in the month of August, which is very common in this part of India, and it happened almost for 30 days. 30 long days, there was no monsoon, no rainfall, nothing. But if you with that particular intervention, when the yield was affected like this, and you have a yield like this, it can be. And in the succeeding year, it happened with wheat as well, because for wheat we need to have a prolonged winter. But it happened, those prime seeds, they have performed like anything. When you have a priming treatment, a simple treatment, they have just taken those particular consortia from our lab, they treat those particular seed with those labs, and ultimately they have received this much amount of yield. And looking at, because Prakash is here, he is more worried about our environment. Very recently we started an intervention this year. We are trying to look at those greenhouse gases as well. We are trying to collect those particular samples from this particular field related to those greenhouse gases, right? We have just taken through those particular syringe. We have collected those air samples, and we are going to analyze for those greenhouse gases, that whether this intervention, whether this priming intervention, apart from our Prime Minister intervention when he talked about neem coated urea, because these all fields are under neem coated urea, and they have been able to reduce the amount of this neem coated urea as well as they will be, I think, able to help our Prime Minister commitment in COP26, where he committed that we wanted to make these greenhouse gases to zero level, and definitely it will be possible because of these committed people. And although this is a smaller intervention, but small is always going to be beautiful, whatever in whatever format it is going to give rise. So what is evident? What is evident that the development practitioners also increasingly recognize the need of collective action. And this collective action, it should be we need to make those particular those resource management practices which actually we advocate. We should make a platform to convince and propagate as well as advocate those strategies with their intervention. And this promoting, because I was mentioning this sustainable natural resource management, you need to have an understand this interaction between those local and external institutions. You just cannot, impose any technology immediately to any particular environment. You have to first introduce, and then you have to mix, intermingle with those guys, and then make a smaller intervention, very simple intervention initially. And once you are, capable to infuse with them, then definitely you can make bigger changes, bigger policy changes. And definitely there are, when we talk about that, what is next, definitely, there are, we talked about issues, and then definitely the strategies that definitely will look into those particular technology innovation. And this technology, when we talk about this technology innovation, definitely in that particular part, we need to involve multiple, gamuts of those particular domains, whether it is, artificial intelligence, whether it is CRISPR technology, because this has given a huge, platform. This has given a huge, hope and opportunity for us to act, and definitely to come up with some flying colors. And investment and research and development, because this was the issue which was having some question, which was put under scanner, particularly when it was agricultural research and development. And this government is very, very committed, particularly. And if we look at the amount which has been given, the amount as per your GDP, the amount which has been allocated to this particular agriculture R&D, it has been increased, in the last 5-6 years. And this momentum and this increase, definitely is going to give a huge momentum in things to achieve. And definitely the other issues which I was trying to address, that definitely the different policies and the timely policies are very important. And once you have something in your mind and you wanted to achieve, and you need that sort of devotion, maybe initially you will be able to see some sort of hurdle, which we have recently seen, but that doesn't actually long last, because ultimately sustainability is going to win. And if sustainability is going to win, definitely you can see the commitment from the government. If you look at those particular PM Kishan in the recent past, if you look at the allocation, the government is so serious in this particular sector. Apart from your R&D, also those particular sectors related to the last man in the row, because that particular person who is actually performing these all sorts of activities. So we have to be very, very emotional and critical about those changes, making those changes, and changes to happen as well. And definitely in this particular dimension, government is making like anything. Government is making those sort of huge innovations. Government is provoking innovations among the whole mass. And ultimately, out of that particular exercise, this ministry was able to identify those 12 problem statements. And this was, this is a huge exercise beforehand. We had a set of, different segmented approach initially. We sent those from different part of India, from different agroecologies, those problems those particular farmers are, facing. So definitely from that, we could able to identify the 12 very pertinent problem statements. And there was a huge challenge, and we received almost 1,000 more than applications from across India. And initially, I am happy to mention here that I was also in that particular team of mentoring those particular and looking at the developments of those agri-tech startups based in IIT Kharagpur. So initially, we started with 400 agri-tech startups, and we mentored them, and finally we could able to give final, because there was a funding from the government. and we could have been able to keep 20 innovators, and whether it is upsoil, whether it is woolly farms, whether it is samudro, these are the groups who actually make huge interventions in this particular effort. So this is very important because when I look at the purpose of this particular organization, the purpose of this collective effort which Prakash and Gupta is making, the other people are making, to just things to happen. Definitely, one thing is which is very important, that we need to generate hope, and we need to generate hope among those youth. And this is a platform I think we'll be able to sensitize, we'll be able to motivate, because this is another observation I can share with all of you, that in the recent startup grants and the recent innovation challenges, whether it is in IIT BHU or IIT Kharagpur, our observation is that most of those particular problem statements, and they are based on agriculture, 90%, more than 90%. That means, and 80% of those applications, it was submitted by either IITians or NITians. So this is something huge. That means it's really something to cherish about, that our young folk, that our young Turk are really making it a point that definitely their intervention is needed. And we wanted to make this reverse shape. We wanted to make that reverse migration, because this is a photograph which I took, I think maybe 6 years back it was initially Mughal Sarai station. Now it is Dindal Upadhyay Nagar. So it was a Gujarat bound train. Look at this particular crowd, and look at, if you have a further look at this particular picture, and you will find that within this particular category, most of them are below 25 years age category. And so we have to make that sort of reverse migration, and that has happened also. That I can tell you, after this pandemic, we have seen our in our village, because with the mission our Prime Minister has put before us, that particular Mera Gaon, Mera Gaurav. So we have also adopted some of those villages nearby Varanasi. So we have seen that reverse migration has been taken place. So that is something which is something to cherish about. And definitely, once you have a proactive government in place, definitely you need not worry. So only thing is needed, which is we need to have that sort of committed, concerted, and effort is needed, and then anything is possible. So Green Revolution 2.0 is definitely, it is going to be there in near future, and with the involvement of, whether you talk about those biotechnology, whether you talk about those nanotechnology, whether you talk about those artificial intelligence, but at the same time, this pandemic has given us a lesson that we cannot compromise with this natural resource base. With this natural resource base, whatever changes we are going to make, it has to be with the synergy of this nature-based solution or this nature-based support system. And if we can do that, and yes, we are doing in that particular direction, and definitely Green Revolution 2 is very near.
Dr. Rakshit,
yes.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt. Actually, we are now running late in the schedule. So we would highly appreciate if you can, finish it.
Yes. This is my last slide. This is my last slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I must acknowledge my university for giving me this opportunity to work on these particular issues of natural resource management, and the funding agencies like DST, Uttar Pradesh Council of Agricultural Research, and better life farming. And they have, helped me in getting this work done. And particularly in this, as I was mentioning, this part of India, eastern part of India. And definitely, and this has happened because of my extended team, because these are the people who work day and night. And I'm just, looking after that. And definitely, I am expecting from these particular, platform, because when Prakash and Gupta, they are, trying to help those people, taking people, helping people, getting good PhDs in good institutes, and making, a sort of drain. And I hope that I want to gain that particularly, and I will be able to, and in that particular venture. So I will be very happy to help anybody who is, doing their master's, PhD with my limited expertise. If I will be of any help, definitely with this platform, I will be always there. So thank you very much, the whole the team. So I am extremely thankful to Dr. Gupta and Dr. Jha for this excellent opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Dr. Akshit. We will have one exciting speaker. His name is the Bicycle Man of India, but his original name is Neeraj Prajapati. I think if you have seen him in DD National or other YouTube channels, he is very popular in the name of Mission Organic Bicycle or Bicycle Man of India. So I'll invite Neeraj Prajapati for his message to SYAHI, and then we will move ahead.
Very good afternoon, one and all present here. And first of all, thank you to Prakash Kumar Jha sir and his society to invited me and to supported this mission. I will tell you about my journey in brief, very short timing. Myself, Neeraj Kumar Prajapati. I am basically from Haryana, India, and my motto is to promote organic farming with a bicycle. I am traveling all over India with only bicycle. I am not using other transport. And during my journey, I visit villages and to collect a problem from the farmers and to promote organic farming at their field. And after the collection of farming, their farming problem, I contact them with Krishi Vigyan Kendra. Then after I connect with agriculture universities in India, 76 agriculture universities is present in India, and 731 Krishi Vigyan Kendra is there in every district. Minimum one or two or three KVKs are present in our districts, and 106 Indian Council of Agriculture Research Institutes are there. They are working on different types of crop and different prospects. During my journey, when I meet with a farmer, when I talk with them, they means a lack of extension is there in our society. Means scientists are doing a lot of research in their labs, but after the publishing the research paper, the research is gone, means logged in Almira. So that during my journey, I feel we have to connect the farmer with the scientist, and the farmer need technical support or some other support at when they doing a farming. But due to lack of extension, farmer didn't getting a right knowledge, right inputs or some other things. As per my experience in India, we are promoting different type of farming. Different methods are there, like a natural farming, organic farming, zero budget farming, home farming, non-chemical farming, some other one. But when we start do any farming in a sustainable agriculture, all have a means all have a same principle, means do not disturb our environment or no use ban means prohibited or means ban of use of chemical in their farming. This way I am promoting all the this way I am motivating the farmer to use the minimum use of pesticide to do a good agriculture practice within a period of 1 or 2 years. If farmer is doing a good agriculture practice, then he or she can go for organic farming. If farmer is seen any YouTube or any other social media and suddenly they started organic farming, after 1 or 2 months or 6 months they get very loss, and their family will be disturbed. So that I motivate the farmer not to do just suddenly to organic farmer. Do first understand a good agriculture practice, use means understand the different type of disease, different type of seed, after taking all the knowledge, then promote to organic farming. I am also helping the farmer to get certification, or to how to certified, how to market their product in a villages. I am also awareing the pupils of urban areas to avoid the use of means uh, I am promoting I am awareing the urban persons to connect with the farmers and to make a one family farmer concept also. And during my journey yesterday evening, I arrived at Krishi Vigyan Kendra Ujjain. Today I am in Mahakal Mandir, Shiv Bhagwan Mandir, Lord. And then after tomorrow I will go to Indore. This is about my brief journey. I am also visited Uzbekistan 8 days, and I also visited Nepal with bicycle. I am also planning to visit some other countries also to share the knowledge, means to spread the country's knowledge. Yesterday, 2 or 3 days
Thank
before, I visited one farm developed by a farmer and very high-tech nursery. If you see my social media, very high-tech nursery, I am impressed. Many our Indian farmers and scientists are going to Israel for high-tech training for high-tech nursery. I am telling all the Indian persons, first visit our country, then after go other country. We are means we have हमारे पास जो है हम उसको विजिट नहीं कर रहे, दूसरे के नाम के चक्कर में वी आर लुकिंग कंट्री फॉरेन मीन्स एक्सटर्नल. नो, सबके लिए अपना अपना देश है. फर्स्ट यू विजिट योर कंट्री, आफ्टर प्लान फॉर अदर कंट्री. नॉट फर्स्ट जस्ट मेकिंग अ पासपोर्ट और विजिटिंग अदर, making some like making some photographs. I am traveling to internationally, I am traveling to this country. This is not important. Important is what you are gaining from other country. That's important. Thank you so
thank
much,
you
sir.
very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you very
Thank
much
you.
for your best wishes.
Thank you, sir.
The message from the Bicycle Man of India is to promote natural farming, minimize the chemical use,
and to connect the farmer with the scientist like us.
Yeah. Now the next most exciting part is the launching of book. So over to Oliva. Oliva will talk more about that.
My screen is visible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, hello everyone. So this book is part of our SYAHI research development program. If we can see, the name of the book is Soil, Water, Agriculture, Climate Change, Exploring the Linkage. I would like to congratulate all the authors especially, and the editors and the reviewers for their hard work, due to which now the book is ready for the publication in the Springer Water and Science Technology Library in coming 2nd October of 2022. I would also like to thank our chief editor, Professor VP Singh, for his guidance throughout this journey. So yeah, I would like to highlight a little bit about the content of this book for our readers. So this book contains like the 4 different themes. One is about the soil and water hydrological consideration, which is more about the hydrological processes, modeling, like the rainfall runoff modeling. The second is about the linking the hydrology and water management to the crop system. The third one is about the soil and water quality consideration. And the fourth one is about the different field technique and the remote sensing techniques. So this book is like, we received very interesting review articles for this book. If I look into the keywords like the hydrology of the Indian Himalayan region, to the application of remote sensing in soil moisture, and the recent advances in the occurrence of fat transport and distribution and modeling, about the river water pollution, about the adaptation to the climate change, and the opportunity of water security in Latin America. Besides that, we also covered the broad range of research questions, starting from the rainfall runoff modeling in the hilly basin, in the Brahmaputra river basin, and the soil erosion model, and the bivariate copula modeling, and the application of the remote sensing for the drought tolerance of different crops, then to the root zone microbial community towards the flood decision support system. So we have received total, I think 19 number of book chapter, and one is for the summary chapter, which is written by all the editors to writing the summary of the whole books and different thematic representation. Looking into the demographic of our authors, we received maximum number of chapter from the India. Yeah, 6 chapters are from India, then from the Nigeria and the Morocco. And we have received one chapters from United States, Canada, Brazil, Australia, and Zimbabwe. So yeah, I would like to request all the reader, please go and check out our book when it's available on the 2nd of October 2022. We will have great content in this book. Yeah, so please go ahead. Thank you.
So this is just an example to showcase that what are the possible collaboration we can do. So
Yeah.
that is the example we did for last 1 year, and we are open for all kind of collaborations. We are getting a lot of requests from publishing house for books and chapters. So I'm requesting everyone, please feel free to join us, email us, follow us on different websites or social media to get updates. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to everyone.
Okay.
Next, Dr. Vivek Gupta for thanksgiving to our all the resource persons.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pankaj Gupta. So over this year, we have literally very thrilling journey of SYAHI. We had organized several events, several workshops, and it could not have been possible without extended support of the community. So today, I would like to take this moment to thank all who have supported us directly and indirectly. To start with, I would like to thank our speakers during different sessions throughout the year who have provided us with great insights on different topics. I would like to thank Lovely Sarmaji from NIUA Delhi Master Plan 2040, Professor Anil Kumar Gupta from National Institute of Disaster Management India, Professor Jirka Shimunik from Professor of Hydrology and Hydrologist, University of California, Riverside, Dr. Ajay Nagpure, Head Air Pollution Water Resource Institute, New Delhi, Dr. Sanmi Akantio, Research Associate at University of Hohenheim, Stuttgart, Germany, Professor Sushil Kumar Himanshu from AIT Bangkok, Distinguished Professor Ratan Lal, 2020 World Food Prize Laureate and Member of Board for International Food and Agricultural Development, Professor Asutosh Sharma, Assistant Professor IIT Roorkee, Professor Chandan Singh, Assistant Professor NIT Raipur, Dr. Swati Burma, Hanyang from Hanyang University, South Korea, and Dr. Vikas Singh from Inha University, South Korea. Further, I would also like to thank all our volunteers who have worked hard to make this possible for SYAHI to make this much impact in a very short time. I would also like to thank all the attendees of different workshops and lecture series who motivated us to organize more events of similar nature. And at last, I thank all those who have contributed directly and indirectly to this cause. I hope you will keep supporting us during the journey. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Pankaj.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Gupta. We are really thankful to our resource persons. Now, time to announce the Best Volunteer Awards. So for that, I would like to hand over the platform to Dr. Dubey. Dr. Dubey, please.
Hello, is my slide is visible?
Yes.
Yeah,
you can.
Okay. Just make the presentation.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you to all the committee members giving me the opportunity to announce the Best Volunteer Award for SYAHI. We are selecting the 3 names, and there are lots of names, but we are selecting 3 names on the basis of their activity in the SYAHI during the like the emailing and also the helping in the way of our SYAHI sites and also the activity in the groups, and also participate in the different our lecture series, and also communicate our giving opportunity which we have to assign our volunteers. On the basis of the first name, we have to select, that is the Kastub Kumar. He is a graduate student at School of Environment and Natural Resources, Ohio State University. If maybe I give 2 minutes to Kastub Kumar, if they have give some ideas with experience with SYAHI.
Thank you, Dr. Dubey. Hello, everyone. I'm Kaustubh. I'm joining from Columbus, Ohio, United States. And I specifically thank Dr. Prakash Jha for introducing me to this group and adding me here. Well, thank you for choosing me for this volunteering award. I feel grateful for the people who have nominated me. And basically, I would like to share only two things. One is all about like publicizing our work also, along with doing research, and how much importance it has in academia. And second is the collaboration, as Dr. Jha and others have done and produced and are coming out with a very wonderful book on soil, water, and linkages of other natural resources. I hope that I keep contributing to this. I am basically pursuing like, environmental social science here, and that is mainly related to agricultural land conservation efforts, decision making by farmers under uncertainty at risk, and environmental sociology. I hope that I also add and introduce other members who are in US and other parts of the world to this group, and we keep growing this group together and keep adding more members. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kaustubh. And the second one is the Salvi Chandan Kumar. He's a junior research fellow, National Institute of Hydrology, Roorkee, India. It's Chandan, are you there? You can give some experience with SYAHI. Tell me. Oh,
yes, he is here.
He is here? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
dear.
thank you. Hi everyone. This is Chetan. Thank you very much for choosing my name as one of the best volunteer of SYAHI 2022. I was invited by Dr. Vivek Gupta to this SYAHI group. That from the time of joining, I have got a lot of opportunities to get in new contacts, as well as to gain new concepts and different topics which are out of my specialization also, which helped me to understand more about the problems related to water and the specific and the respect to solutions also in a broad view. And I used to work on web support in SYAHI, where I need to have where I gained the knowledge about how to update the website. And before I thought that it was some rocket science or something. After working with SYAHI, then I came to know, no, it was not something we can't do. Everyone can do it. Just we need to give it a try. That support was given by SYAHI. Thank you very much for boosting myself. And especially I want to talk thanks to Vivek Gupta sir for all his support, and to all the core members for choosing my name as a best volunteer. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Chetan. And the third one is Surji Dev Varman. He is from the Department of Water Resource and Ocean Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, India. Yes, Surjit, you can share your experience with SYAHI. Are you there?
Yeah. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, am I audible, please?
Yeah, Surjit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm pursuing my PhD almost at the end of my
Surjit, your voice is not clear. Maybe if possible, you can off your camera. Maybe the voice is clear. Yeah. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, earphone, yeah, sorry. So, yeah, so I'm grateful to, I'm grateful to all the members who have chosen me as one of the best volunteer, for this Monsoon 2022. So I'm pursuing my PhD in water resources engineering here at NIT Suratkal, and I'm about to just submit my thesis. So yeah, it has been a great journey, though I have been not able to attend any of the online meetings, but I think I could at least be a part of the group in a way of say by updating ads on jobs, masters and PhD programs. And if I were a little bit, having lesser commitment, I could have, of course, brought in some people or some experts to deliver talks like the way you have been all doing. So it has been really fruitful. I was really, I would say, thankful to the group that I could learn so many things. Though I did not attend, but I would download the materials and later I would go through, and then I benefited myself also. And then I also wanted to share whatever I know. So of course, all of us, we need some form of, platform, some kind of platform to succeed in life. So I want to really thank SYAHI for making this 1 year successful. Thank you so much. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you to one and all. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Surjit. Thank you all the volunteers and also the selected volunteers for the SYAHI that you have to always participate and active in every events and workshops and also the lectures. Thank you. Over to Pankaj.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dhubeji, and congratulations to all of the Best Volunteer Award winner. We are likely to conclude this session. Prakashji and Amritji will take care of the conclusive remark. Before that, the SYAHI is continue to deliver these hand-on training programs. We already had chance to deliver these Python workshop and the Hydros workshop, and also 2-3 more workshops. So in line, we do have these upcoming workshop on the SWAT, soil water assessment tool. For announcement of the SWAT workshop, I would like to invite Dr. Unyal, Bhumika Unyal, and Dr. Sushant from Europe and from US. So Dr. Unyal and Sushant, please.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, I think. Yes.
Okay. Good morning from Germany. I'm really sorry I could not join the whole session, but I'm here on the right time. So I'm a postdoc working at Professorship of Ecological Services at Bayreuth University. It's located near Munich. And currently I'm working on 2 projects where I'm using the outputs of SWAT to quantify ecosystem services. I'm also giving SWAT lectures for the last 2 years. So I'm really looking forward to see you guys in the SWAT course. So we have got a lot of things, what students wants to do or what you guys wanted to see in the lecture. So me and
Prashant, we will sit together in coming days and come up with a good plan so that we would fit it in 4 days. Thank you from my side. Looking forward to you all in the course.
Hi everyone. I won't take too much of your time. So I'm just making an announcement and a shout out for a workshop on soil and water assessment tool, tool that has a legacy for 40 years, and mainly a semi-distributed model, which would be very useful for everyone who is working with hydrology and related applications. Uh, we will be studying about how to set up the model and to debug the model, or something related to the source code, and definitely some climate change impact and land use change impacts. I would really appreciate if you can join. Soon, Dr. Gupta will be sharing the information, how you can join, and other logistic information on workshop. And looking forward to everyone on the workshop, whosoever could join. And if you have received the survey form that Dr. Gupta and Dr. Vivek Gupta and Dr. Pankaj Kumar has shared, so I would appreciate if you can fill those forms. That would help us to build a curriculum that can serve your needs. That all from my end. It's pretty late, almost, but thank you for
Yeah.
bringing us. And looking
So,
forward for. Thank you.
Dr. Sushant, we have received, I think, hundreds of the input in the pre-workshop form. I would like to request you to have a look and analyze and develop the content based on the input. Fortunately, I think we are going, if I'm correct, we are going to conduct the workshop in upcoming month, the July and the August, if I'm correct.
That's the plan, that the first phase would be
That's
last
the
week.
plan.
But
Yeah.
could go to first week of August. I need to talk to Bhumika about it, but
Yes.
it's first week or the last week of July.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you very much for your time, Bhumika. Thank you for joining us from Germany, Europe, and Sushant. So over to you, Prakashji and Navneetji, to conclude today's session, the Monsoon Meet, SYAHI's Monsoon Meet, and over to you. Bye bye.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Mehan and Dr. Miao for workshop. So for the dates of workshop, please stay tuned to our Twitter, our social media websites, and as well as our SYAHI website. And I think Navneet is here. I'd like to ask Navneet to give a word of thanks. And then after a word of thanks, we will end today's session. We are not ending, but it's continuing process. Please stay tuned. And then Navneet, are you there? Okay, I think he has some audio issue. Okay, well, so this is not an end, and we will stay in touch for different kind of workshop, training program, admission guidance, job descriptions, jobs hunting. Please stay in touch, and we have our email IDs and point of contact on websites. So thank you everyone who participated, especially those who are in US Eastern time. It's almost 1:35 a.m. We will meet soon in another workshop. So this is a conclusion of our first anniversary program, that is SYAHI Monsoon. And thanks to all those volunteers. Congratulations to all those awardees, and congratulations to all those editors, book chapter contributors. So we will meet soon for next event. Till then, stay warm, stay cool, stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.
You can stop recording.